a dreamer, but my heart's of gold. I had to run away high, so I wouldn't come home low. Just when things went right, it doesn't mean they were always wrong. Just take this song and you'll never be left all alone. Take me to your heart, fill me in your bones. Just one more night, and I'm coming on this long and winding road. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Home, sweet home. Tonight, I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Home, sweet home. You know that I've seen too many romantic dreams of bitter light falling off
Documents were filed in federal court claiming that the owners of Pittsburgh Mills have not paid their mortgage. Wells Fargo filed court documents saying Pittsburgh Mills is in default of a $133 million loan. Deferred payments, interest, and other penalties pushed their foreclosure amount to nearly $143 million. It's a shock to shoppers.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. I heard the original guy who started the place went bankrupt.
Are you surprised that they have a foreclosure on the mall?
I'd have to say yes to that, especially owing that kind of money. My question is, why did they let it go so long that they owe that kind of money?
There is no clear answer to why. Pittsburgh Mills is owned by Zemaya Services in Johnstown. No one was available to explain why the owners are not current on the mortgage. The mall's general manager only offered a brief statement saying, quote, "It is business as usual at Galleria at Pittsburgh Mills. The customers and merchants will notice very little changes, if any."
It is bad news for Pittsburgh Mills, but it really doesn't surprise me because I think they've been struggling for a while.
Audrey Gusky is an associate professor of marketing at Duquesne University. She says it's not certain how the foreclosure will affect future business.
People could be going there because they're looking for the bargains, they're looking for the sales, they're thinking bankruptcy sales, there's going to be a lot of deals for us. Or they could be staying away because they're thinking, loser, we don't want to go there, we're going to go someplace else.
Fraser Township's manager says the foreclosure procedure is not an indication that the mall is closing. The township says Wells Fargo will manage the mall until it finds another buyer to take over.
If there is one location that could be argued for the epicenter of the shopping mall crisis in the United States, it is most definitely the Beltway of Pennsylvania. Littered with dying malls from the quaint rural shopping centers to mega structures that sit in silence. The middle of PA, guys, is full of them. Just to the west of that sits a property that defines the Mills Corporation in just one word: catastrophe. Although only being old enough to drive this month, Pittsburgh Mills' story is all too familiar to not only places that bear its namesake, but to the apparent fate of malls in general. The idea for the property actually began in 1981 when Zemaya Services envisioned a shopping complex for Fraser Township, but it was entangled in legal setbacks for years. The Mills Corporation got involved in '86, but it took almost 20 years for the mall to get off the ground. The following news clip you're about to see talks about the buzz in the air for the new mall, but listen closely to one expert who speaks in an eerily foreshadowing tone.
Busy as a swarm of honeybees.
Storybook, amphitheater here.
Construction crews are playing beat the clock to meet the grand opening deadline for the Pittsburgh Mills Mall.
We're opening July 14th, 9:30 in the morning, and it'll all be finished.
The $280 million project on a 200-acre site even has its own interchange and is expected to draw 19 million visitors a year.
We have more than 175 stores in here.
The mall is divided into an enclosed space called the Galleria, featuring an incredible kids spot, hip retailers like H&M, a 1,000-seat food court with free laptop hookups, a bowling and martini bar, a 16-screen multiplex with IMAX theater, and an indoor-outdoor virtual NASCAR circuit.
So that as you're racing against your friends, you feel every bump in the road, every bank of the track.
And there's the Village outside with satellite stores and a go-kart track. Another novel concept, designated neighborhoods reflecting individually designed local themes like rivers, bridges, and sports.
That helps people stay oriented in the mall.
The Virginia-based Mills Corporation, which has developed 39 mall sites around the country, says the Fraser Township area was under-retailed.
It makes me nervous when we keep opening all of these malls.
Duquesne University professor Dr. Audrey Gusky, who's studied marketing here for 25 years, isn't sure we need another mega mall.
And when you open a new mall area, especially as large and as exciting as this one, what's going to end up happening is other older established stores and malls are going to end up having trouble financially.
What would $100 buy you in 2017? A pair of Nikes? A new tire for your car? A year worth of Netflix perhaps? And surprisingly, a shopping mall. How in the hell do you go from a valuation of $190 million to $100? I'll tell you how. Greed, mismanagement, and a corporate ignorance is how. 2.1 million square feet of retail is rotting away on the top of a hill in Fraser Township. If dying retail were a crime, then the Pittsburgh region would be on the hook for financial homicide. Instead of reminiscing about aesthetics, paint schemes, fountains, and shops we miss, let's talk about a mall that should never have been built. The Mills Corporation are the non-responsible parent who never should have been given to the ability to financially reproduce. Now, this is a bit of an artistic take on this, but they directly and indirectly spawned two children, Moonbeam and Mike Cohan. If you get that joke, you get it. If you don't, you don't. But that's a topic for another day. Is it true that some malls are not at fault and a victim of circumstance? Absolutely. But let's not let these places that fascinate us off the hook so easy. Many malls are dying due to one simple fact: too many of them. The Pittsburgh Mills Mall is a prime example of that. I mean, listen to this list. Pittsburgh Mills, Ross Park Mall, the Mall at Robinson, Century 3, F in the chat, please. Parkway Center Mall, RIP, South Hills Village, Station Square, Uniontown Mall, Westmoreland Mall, Washington Crown Center. Exhausted yet? All malls within an hour or so drive of the Steel City. While it's true that changing economics, the internet, and most recently COVID have put a headlock on malls, it's also due to pure gluttony. Overconfident developers with visions of prosperity thought it would be a good idea to pack shoppers with as many options as possible. But when is enough enough? This mall is only 16 years old and is already on its deathbed. Quiet hallways that still look sparkly new, a completely vacant food court, a few dribbling tenants, and a silent theater, no pun intended. This place is not long for the world and is likely soon to go the way of its counterpart in St. Louis. Insert unscripted rant conclusion here, and start. You know, this place is, it's a mind twist. This is only a 16-year-old shopping mall that was really doomed from the start, and for the reasons I just mentioned. You see these people and these experts and even us at the DMOD and different people and the viewers and everybody tries to put a exact reason on why shopping malls, there I am, are dying. And there really is no one specific answer. There are theories, there are reasons that I just mentioned, there are several different things that contribute to the death of a mall. And again, some are the mall's developer's fault or the mall itself, some are not its fault. There are several reasons. So when people ask me, what is the main reason why malls are dying, the answer to that question is there aren't any. And people say, oh, it's because of Amazon. Oh, it's because of that. Yes, that's true in some respects, but it's not fully true. There is truly no perfect right answer to the equation. Now, what we are seeing in 2021 and 2020 really is over the last few months to year, there has been a flurry of malls being torn down. The demolition process on a lot of these places has been sped up quite a bit. There are some malls that were doing terrible before COVID, and COVID was the final blow. And there are some malls that were, the exact opposite. So the coronavirus definitely did not help. But it sucks to see what's happening in these places, and a lot of us watch these for many different reasons. A lot of us watch it because we are fascinated by a place that is frozen in time. A lot of us watch this because we are fascinated by things that we remember and memories that we have going to these places. And a lot of us watch this because it's just, the topic is just interesting, and it's going to be crazy to see when we are all older, or we are all at different varying ages, but to look back on this 20, 30 years from now and see what's left, what's new, what the new trends are, and hopefully the work that me and a lot of my other creator friends have done can serve as a blueprint of what not to do again. So those are just my thoughts. I do not like to be the person that berates these malls, but this mall has always kind of agitated me as a mall that clearly should never have been built. By 2005, malls were already starting on the decline. And the funny thing is, some of you may know this already, is that even though the dead mall genre did not become popularized until Dan's video of Rolling Acres 4 to 5 years ago, this has been a problem long before any of us were around producing these videos. Now, technology has given us the methods to do so on a much easier basis, to some different, degreeing levels of skill, some more than others. But this has been a problem for a long time. Going back even far back before any of us were even thinking about doing this, my good buddy Jon Rev in the Chicago area was documenting and taking pictures of the Dixie Square Mall, and that even predates him being alive. That mall has been dead for over 50, 60 years since the filming of the Blues Brothers. So a little different circumstance there, but the dead mall genre has a lot deeper roots than a lot of us think. And if you even branch off of that in some respects, you can even look at some of the department stores outside of malls, albeit Hills and Ames and Jamesway and these different places, Caldor and Venture and all these different places that died off for their own different reasons. I think that the department stores, it was a two-part thing with those. A lot of that was more on the mismanagement side, and but also you have some instances where gluttony is also to blame. I mean, if you look at Kmart is struggling, and what do they decide to do? They decide to buy Sears. A lot of people think that Sears owns Kmart, but that's not true. And even though the company is called Sears Holdings, because Sears is probably the more long-standing recognizable name, the Kresge company and Kmart actually bought out Sears several years ago. So it's just sad to see what's happening to these places, and I'm very appreciative that I have this knack for seeing these places and documenting them along with several other creators. So that is the end of my rant for today. A little bit different from what you normally would expect. I still am grateful, and hopefully you appreciate the work we are doing. And if you are appreciative, please do me a huge favor and subscribe. A lot of you that watch these videos are not subscribed. Welcome to all my new subscribers and to all of my OG faithful that has been there since the beginning. We are coming up on April the 19th, I believe, on the 5-year anniversary of Ace's Adventure. I cannot believe that it has almost been half a decade. I'd like to try and get to 50,000 subscribers this year, so if you enjoy my work, please share. And you can find me on Instagram at acesadventures1. And if you are so inclined and would like to help my cause and allow me to see more places, I do have a Patreon too at patreon.com/acesadventures. Links down below. Keep an eye out for probably a little bit more historical dive on this from my good buddy Sal, who was along on this journey on our overnight trek here at Pittsburgh Mills. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of the video. This is Anthony with Ace's Adventures. As always, everybody have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all in a few weeks with another episode.
top of the morning. Nothing beats the COVID like a dead ball. Woo!